Hello students, good morning and welcome you all to physics class. So today we are moving to one of the important topic in this chapter, that is Bernoulli's principle. Okay, Bernoulli's principle. So in the last class we discussed the energy possessed by a flowing fluid, and you understood that there are three types of energy like potential energy, kinetic energy and pressure energy. And also we have derived expressions for these three. So I think that is clear for you. And now first we will state the Bernoulli's theorem or Bernoulli's principle. So what about the statement? Let us have a check on it. So Bernoulli's principle states that the sum of pressure energy, kinetic energy and potential energy per unit volume of an incompressible non-viscous fluid in a streamlined irrotational flow remains constant along a streamline. So here some terms may be new for you, no problem. Please listen carefully. Here you can see pressure energy, kinetic energy and potential energy per unit volume. You know the expressions for these three. In the last class we discussed. So according to this principle, the sum of pressure energy, kinetic energy and potential energy per unit volume of an incompressible non-viscous fluid in a streamlined irrotational flow remains constant. That means for an ideal fluid, you can call it as an ideal fluid in which it is considered as an incompressible fluid, non-viscous fluid, even though ideal fluid does not exist practically, but to a percent we can consider certain fluids as ideal. Understand? So incompressible, non-viscous fluid, all these are characteristics of an ideal fluid, and for an ideal fluid the sum of pressure energy, kinetic energy and potential energy per unit volume remains constant. Clear? So that is the statement for Bernoulli's principle. So you know the expressions for pressure energy, kinetic energy and potential energy per unit volume, isn't it? So according to this statement, how can you express it mathematically? As it is P plus half rho V squared plus rho GH. Clear? Is a constant. So this is the law, this is the expression according to the Bernoulli statement. Understand? So once again, it states that the sum of pressure energy, kinetic energy and potential energy per unit volume of an incompressible non-viscous fluid in a streamlined irrotational flow remains constant along a straight streamline. Clear? Now we have to study in detail about the proof. Okay, how we are getting this expression, that is proof of Bernoulli's principle, we have to study. So now we are moving to the proof of Bernoulli's principle. You can take the notes along with the class. So for studying the proof, first we have to consider a pipe through which liquid is flowing. Okay, not simply a pipe having two area of cross section. Okay, so let us consider the diagram first. So consider a non-viscous, then incompressible fluid, a non-viscous incompressible fluid flowing steadily between the sections A and B of a pipe of varying cross section. Understand? So we are considering a non-viscous incompressible fluid flowing steadily between the sections A and B of the pipe of different cross sections or different area. So here you can see there are two areas. This is taken as A1, area A1, and this is A2. Okay. Now the velocity will also differ according to the area of cross section. So here the velocity is taken as V1 and here it is V2. Okay. Now we are taking a reference line or the ground level here. Suppose this is taken as the ground level. Okay, this is taken as the ground level. So first of all, the two sections are at different heights. So let this section be at a height of h1 from the ground and this section at a height of h2 from the ground. Clear? So what all terms we explain here? First one is area, that is A1 and A2, then velocity V1 and V2, then H1 and H2, the heights from the ground level. Okay. Now here fluid is flowing through this pipe and we are considering the density of the fluid as rho. So rho is the density of the fluid. Now already it is said that the fluid is incompressible. So whatever mass of fluid enters into the pipe at section A in a time interval, an equal mass of fluid flows out at section B in time interval, in the same time interval. Understand? For example, if the time interval is taken as delta t, during this time interval delta t, how much amount of fluid or mass of fluid entering into the pipe and crossing this area must be the same as that of the mass of fluid leaving this pipe, which is having smaller area of cross section. So how will you consider this displacement or this distance? You know that the velocity is there v1 and if it crosses a time interval delta t, the displacement is given as v1 into delta t. Isn't it? Now what about this displacement? It is v2 into delta t. So here the mass can be calculated or found out by using the general expression for mass, that is mass is equal to volume into density. Mass is equal to volume into density. Okay. Now what is volume? Volume, you know, it is area into length into density. Isn't it? Area into length into density. Now area is A1 for the first case. A1, okay. Then second case is V1 delta T into rho. What is this? Because you know the length or the displacement for this particular region is given by the expression V1 into delta T for this case, right? Similarly, I told that since it is incompressible, how much mass is entering here for the section A must be equal to the mass of fluid leaving the section B. So, again I can write this must be equal to A2 V2 delta T rho. Isn't it? That is A1 V1 delta T rho must be equal to A2 V2 delta T rho. So this will get cancelled and we will get an expression A1 V1 is equal to A2 V2. A1 V1 equal to A2 V2. This equation can also be called as the equation of continuity. Okay. Nothing is there. That is A1 V1 is equal to A2 V2, which means that area and velocity are inversely proportional. So through small area of cross section, the velocity will be more, as well as for larger area of cross section, the velocity will be small. That is the relation. That equation is known as the equation of continuity. Okay. Now here A1 V1 is equal to A2 V2. Now here, according to the statement, we have to find the expressions for kinetic energy, potential energy, as well as pressure energy. So first we will move to the change in kinetic energy of the fluid. Since there are two sections, you have to find it separately and take the difference so that you can find the change in kinetic energy of the fluid. So first we will move to the change in kinetic energy of the fluid. Which is equal to, there are two sections, kinetic energy at B minus kinetic energy at A. And you know the expression, it is half m into, at B the velocity was v2, isn't it? So v2 squared minus half m into v1 squared, which will be equal to half m into v2 squared minus v1 squared. Okay. Now we can substitute the value for m that we got in the last equation. That is half m into, what is the expression? Sorry, what is the expression for m? M is A1 V1 delta T. Isn't it? A1 V1 delta T. Then rho is there into V2 square minus V1 square. Okay. So this is the change in kinetic energy of the fluid. Now we are moving to the change in potential energy of the fluid. That is change in potential energy of the fluid. Which is given by potential energy at B minus potential energy at A. That is, what is the expression? Since it is at a height, it is gravitational potential energy. So mg h2 minus mg h1, or you can write it as mg into h2 minus h1. mg into h2 minus h1. Again substituting the value for m. Any value you can put, you have two values like A1 V1 delta T rho as well as A2 V2 delta T rho, both are same. So I am putting here A1 V1 delta T rho G H2 minus H1. Okay. Now, what about the work done on the fluid? Because you know the work is actually PV, pressure into volume, isn't it? So here you are going to find the pressure energy or the work done, net work done on the fluid. Actually the fluid is doing, or on the fluid we are doing a work at the position A, as well as when it leaves the position B, the work is done by the fluid. So here work is done on the fluid at A as well as work is done by the fluid at the point B. So the difference, you will get the net work done. So we'll move to the net work done on the fluid. Which is equal to work done on the fluid at the position where? Is at the position A. Okay. Minus work done by the fluid when it leaves the tube at the position B. Clear? Now you have to find the expression for work done on the fluid as well as work done by the fluid. So you know the work is pressure volume work. So P1 minus P2 V2, isn't it? Now P1 V1 you will get it as P1 into volume, you can write as area into length, area A1 into length, okay, and again P2 V2, or you can write as A2 into L, the length, second length, it is L1 as well as L2, right? So area into length will give you the volume. Now for this value you will change it as P1 A1 V1 delta T minus P2 A2 V2 delta T. So this is the expression for work done on the fluid. So the term that can be taken outside is A1 V1 delta T. Why? Because A1 V1 delta T is equal to A2 V2 delta T, isn't it? So A1 V1 delta T into P1 minus P2. A1 V1 delta T into P1 minus P2. This is clear for you? So next is by conservation of energy. You know energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. So here also the conservation of energy is obeyed. So you can write it as the net work done on the fluid, is equal to change in kinetic energy of the fluid plus change in potential energy. Okay, that is the expressions you have with you. What are the expressions? A1 V1 delta T into P1 minus P2, which is equal to half into A1 V1 delta T rho V2 squared minus V1 squared plus rho G into H2 minus H1. Okay. Now we are dividing this equation on both sides by A1 V1 delta T. Dividing by A1 V1 delta T. So left side will turn to P1 minus P2, which is equal to half into rho V2 squared minus V1 squared plus rho G into H2 minus H1. Okay. Now opening the brackets, P1 minus P2 is equal to half rho V2 squared minus half rho V1 squared plus rho GH2 minus rho GH1. Okay. Just arranging the terms on both sides. So P1 plus half rho V1 squared plus rho GH1 is equal to, take this term here, so P2 plus half rho V2 squared plus rho GH2. Okay. So you got the expression like this, which means that P plus half rho V squared plus rho GH is a constant. So this proves Bernoulli's principle, according to which the total energy per unit volume remains constant. Isn't it? Starting we wrote this equation. Do you remember? According to a statement, we wrote the equation P plus half rho V square plus rho GH is a constant. So in order to prove that, we took a tube having two area of cross section. two velocities, and we considered a time interval delta t, for which you are considering a length there which is given by v1 into delta t. And the starting portion, you considered rho as the density of the fluid, and it is said that this is the case for an ideal fluid in which the fluid is incompressible. So whatever mass is entering through the first area should be it should leave the second section B. Understand? So mass entering must be equal to mass leaving. So we find an expression for mass. From that you got A1 V1 is equal to A2 V2, which we call as the equation of continuity. Also, for lesser area the velocity will be more, as well as for more area the velocity will be less. Then the kinetic energy, potential energy, etc. can be calculated here. That is kinetic energy half mv square. We have two sections B as well as A, which have the velocities v2 and v1. So change, we found it out, because you know the second section where the area of cross section is small, the velocity will be more, because area and velocity are inversely proportional. That is why for taking the change we took v2 first. Understand? Because v2 is more here. So half m v2 squared minus v1 square. There you substituted the value for m from the above equation. Similarly, you wrote an expression for potential energy, and then you wrote an expression for the work done, which was given by pressure volume work. And this three, after finding these three, just arranging the equations, that is by obeying the conservation of energy, you arrange the equation, then divided the equation on both sides by the term A1 V1 delta T, and finally you got the expression as P plus rho V squared plus rho GH is equal to a constant. Understand? So this proves Bernoulli's principle, according to which the total energy per unit volume remains constant. So it is very important, and then we have to study the applications of Bernoulli's theorem. Okay, so many applications are there, so you have to study each one in detail. Now we are moving to the applications of Bernoulli's theorem. Hope it is clear for you now. Okay.